Hey, everybody. Again, it's me. Yeah, it's me, Leslie Robert Wolfe, and you're listening to Whale of an Idea, the show that brings you a lot of remarkable, unique products and services, business models, and, of course, even from time to time, some creative marketing-type training cool stuff. And we're going to be talking a lot about that on this show. My guest is Robert Katz, and he's got a sort of an interesting new product he would like to get caught on the market called Soyshot, and I'll get the spelling on that. I believe it's Soyshot, like you're taking a shot of soy. And he is also the proud owner and creator of a successful business called My Grandma Coffee Cakes. And so, Robert, are you there?
I am, Les.
Okay, well, to start, why don't you tell our listeners about this Soyshot thing? It's kind of
it's soy, as we say in most of the country, soy, like rhymes with boy, soy milk, soy shot. Basically, what I'm in the food industry, and my company, My Grandma's Coffee Cakes of New England, is going very nicely, $8 to $10 million, and we're in very prominent locations, including many Nordstroms around the country. We were in Starbucks for many years until they decided to buy their own bakery and go that way. And the bottom line is, whenever I go into a coffee shop and I look for a cappuccino, I ask for a mocha, soy mocha. I haven't been drinking whole milk for 35 years. I used to drink skim milk when I grew up as a kid because it was better for you, and I didn't believe in the whole milk being that great for you. And all of a sudden the soy milk thing came out, and it used to be hard to find in stores, but I used to find it. And I'd also buy vanilla milk or almond milk, and nowadays coconut milk is being praised as one of the best things in the world for you. So the bottom line is I realize that the half and half industry, which is half cream, half milk, these little tiny containers that are 3 inches high are all over the place when you go to have breakfast in the morning. You have the half and half. And that, back in 1966, when it first got started, was less than a $5 million industry. But by the time the 70s rolled around into the late 70s, $20 million industry. 1980 was $50 million. Half and half was prominent in all the hotels, still is, on the tables at buffets. And the bottom line is you can't get soy milk. You can't get soy milk in 2/3 of these places. They tell me because the soy spoils. They have to buy it by the half gallon, and it spoils. So what happens? They abandon the possibility of selling any soy shots, mocha, soy mocha lattes or anything with that. Well, regular milk, a lot of folks don't want it. So I trademarked the name Soy Shots, like a shot, like you do a shot in the bar of soy. Same container, same size container as a half and half, but this should be made available to the general public, and hopefully it'll grow even 1/3 as fast as half and half did for people who just want to have soy milk or almond milk or coconut milk in their coffee instead of having to have half cream. And I see it as a growing industry with a lot of bars where they can make soy shot drinks, Kahlua with soy milk, Kahlua with coconut milk, and it's the wave of the future. And, of course, now realizing it's half and half is a $250 million industry, $250 million, we missed the boat on half and half. So why not get on the boat for soy shots and create an industry?
Huh. Well, I know you said at one point, I think when we were talking, you said that you did take that idea to see if there was interest or not around to a few of your clients and other.
That's a great question, Leslie. I've trademarked the name Soy Shots, which puts a picture in your head of a little shot of soy, and then you can also picture in your head what a regular half and half container looks like. Well, the bottom line is those are half an ounce. And I was going to, in exploratory stages, once this business begins, buy 1,000 gallons of soy milk, 1,000 gallons of coconut milk. If you think about it, even at $4.50 a gallon, or $4, which is market price, okay, you're only talking about $4,000 investment. But when you get these 1,000 gallons and you then take them and 128 ounces to a gallon. So if you have 1,000 gallons, you have 128,000 little containers we're going to start with. That's all. And have them filled and use those as prototypes. And that whole investment between the 1,000 gallons of coconut milk, 1,000 gallons of soy milk, 128,000 little containers it's less than a $12,000 investor. So it's not about getting the money invested and getting the product out there. It's just about starting the whole process and putting a plan together, a 6-month plan, a 1-year plan, and growing the business and being committed to stocking the product, being committed to get the distribution going, which my grandma's Coffee Cakes of New England presently works with over 48 distributors all over the country. And eventually that's exactly how this product would be held by distributors so they can market it to their clientele. But I missed the Bottles and James wine craze when I was a kid. My father used to make me wine coolers. I said, why don't they have this in a bottle? Sure enough, I grew up. I'm 14, 15 years old. All of a sudden, Bottles and James comes out, and wine coolers are a multi-billion-dollar industry. They didn't exist before 1973. So I'm saying the same thing about Soyshots. Let's not miss the boat. Let's actually launch our own boat.
So what you're looking for, and this is all part of the crew funding process, is you're looking for anybody that might have an interest in doing something with you on a marketing basis. It could be a licensing deal, a joint venture, equity investment, distribution, whatever the case may be.
Well, you know, Les, they have this thing out there called Shark Tank, and that's for multimillionaires and billionaires who are looking to spend several $100,000. I'm actually in the guppy tank. I'm looking for somebody that wants to spend 100 hours a month or willing to spend $5,000 to $10,000 at a time. But once you pay for something, you get a free sample. You often don't look at it. You pay a nickel for it, a dime for it. Once you're invested, you're more interested. So I'm actually looking to deal with 1 or 2 people who are really that committed and think this is a great idea and want to work it with me. And that would be my motivation to develop the team. That's all I need.
I agree. And also, let's see if we can take that guppy and turn it into a whale, right?
Well, guppies grow. Even little whales grow. But, yeah, exactly. That's pretty funny. But you're right. Grow it into a whale. Believe me, nobody thought I'd ever sell $8 to $10 million worth of coffee cake when I started this business. Coffee cake? Great, sells that for 65 cents. Well, sure enough, our cake was sold for $8 a slice at the Plaza Hotel, a place where when I first brought my cake there, the pastry chef from France said, we make everything on the premises. But of course I would try a little cake. He was willing to sample the cake. By the next day, they were a customer of ours for 12 straight years in the tea room at the Plaza Hotel. So, when a great idea is launched, if someone is at the other end of hearing it, if you've got the right pair of ears on the other end, it can be unstoppable.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the Grandma Coffee Cakes business. There's, a lot of our listeners have ideas and thoughts about creating something, and your business on that is very successful. Any golden nuggets of information that you could give our listeners about that?
Well, I've had a lot of fun with Oprah writing us up in her magazine, calling us one of her favorite things. I even got a call from Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said, I'll be back for my grandmas. And he actually ordered the cake right over the phone. I've had Ted Williams, the baseball player, order the cake. We've had Doris Day, Warren Buffett. We have a blast because the cake is of high quality. And when I started this company in 1993, the gentleman who ran it was only interested in one thing: making enough pocket money to not have to declare taxes and just pay his bills. And when I came along, I started a small cleaning supply company, and I was very big on the environment. We still are. We recycle. We pay people not to smoke $20 a week if they quit smoking. We do everything we can to try to improve the environment in our own company. We use recyclable products, that type of thing. And the bottom line is, when I was selling these products in 1992 and 93, I ran into this guy where I would take his cake out to my customers, and all of a sudden my business was doubling, tripling, just because of my morning appointments. Well, people want to see me in the morning. No, that's when I brought the coffee cake. So all of a sudden the New England Patriots bought all of the ice melt from me. The entire parking lot, whenever they sprayed ice melt, hundreds of thousands of pounds of it would come from me. I didn't bring it. I had a trucking company, and I made a few pennies on it, a pound. But the Patriots bought it from me because every time I came to have an appointment to talk about, can you sell us some trash bags? How much you going to cost for the cleaning supplies here and there and that we use? And you know what? Every time I came out, they knew I'd bring cake. And so my business was growing so great. I said to this cake guy, you've got to expand. You've got to grow. You've got to work. You've got to work 6 days a week. You can't be closed on Saturdays. You've got to take MasterCard and Visa. You've got to make the cake kosher. He said, all right, buddy, I've heard enough of you. Give me a headache. If you think you can do a better job, buy me out. So I spent 4 months putting all the money together I could, borrowing from everybody I could, moved back to my parents' house, As a matter of fact, on the East Coast, there's a famous woman called Joan Hamburg. She's had a TV show, a radio show on WOR Radio, which is 610 WR in New York, New Jersey, that whole area, for 40 years. And when I first bought the company, she actually interviewed me and said, come on, folks, you got to buy the cake. It's the best cake ever tasted. Plus, you'll help Bob move out of his parents' house. Okay? Well, what you're hearing from anybody is enjoying my sense of humor. This is how I live my life. I love concepts. I love ideas. I love talking to people who like to change things or want to be part of change, to improve things, keep thinking, be optimistic. I love being around those people, and they like being around me. And that's why people like Henry Winkler, who's a dear friend, and several of these other celebrities out in California, my cake is always going to be popular because these are people who want quality, and we're never going to have to worry about the price because if the prices go up, they'll pay it. They expect the quality. That's the marketplace we go after.
Well, very good.
That makes sense.
You've got it covered on that. So, anything else that you'd like to tell listeners about as far as your experience of maybe some marketing tips or something that you kind of stumbled onto that you found to be creative and work real well to make your business grow?
Well, I've got a ball with it. I've done a lot of I wear my, as we say in Boston, my heart on my sleeve. I know it's supposed to be hurt, but I say heart. That's how we talk in Boston. The bottom line is it's the truth about the way I am. And we've been in several accounts, such as Nordstrom's. We've gone to food shows, and they've experienced our cake. We were the first company in our industry to take the trans fats out of the coffee cake. Way back when nobody even knew what trans fats were, it was in the flour. We didn't buy the trans fats and add them. It was a way of keeping the flour that we were buying preserved. And when we found out back in 2002 that's how they preserved flour, I did some research. We were trans fat free in 2004. And with the highest quality cake that we had, again, we just love getting people to the People magazine wrote about us. Just last year at Christmas, the Today Show in 2011 recommended our cake to the entire country. I sell them live on QVC, and I go on about 3 or 4 times a month. And I would suggest anybody wants to hear anything about us, the best way is to look at mygrandma.com. No S, just mygrandma.com, and there's a little history of there, a few articles written about us, tells us some of the endorsements that we've had. All we know is we use the highest quality bourbon vanilla in the world. No imitation vanilla. If we had imitation vanilla, the cake couldn't freeze because there's water in there. It would dry everything out. When it froze, it would be terrible. So we use pure bourbon vanilla. Even when it was $30 a gallon, it's now over $95 a gallon, we still use it. We're never going to cut the quality. The walnuts that we use are from the Mariani orchards in California. And Les, you being from Northern California, maybe you know the Mariani orchards, highest quality walnuts you can get in the universe. They have a special section of the orchard that they have for our walnuts. And again, when you're tasting pure walnut oil and pure bourbon vanilla and fresh cultured sour cream, you know what they've been doing for the last 25 years, 30 years to our food? They put additives in it. They sour the cream by throwing citric acid into cream, and they call it soured cream. No, Les. 35, 40 years old, Grandma would never do that. She would literally let the cream sour naturally, and some of the fat dries out, and it sours naturally. That's what we use, the cultured sour cream. Sure, it's more expensive, but that's what our customers expect. And even with the economy being perceived as down, and a lot of folks, looking for jobs, a lot of businesses struggling, our clientele, when they want to pick me up, say, I want to feel better. For just $15, $18, $20, I'm going to get myself a Grandma's coffee cake. I'm worth it. And that's our attitude. Our attitude is we want to be universally a comfort food for anybody who appreciates what comfort food does.
Oh, very good. I mean, hey, don't mess with Grandma.
No.
Don't want to mess with Grandma. So when you first, took over on the coffee cake business, as it were, how did you go about getting that into, because it's a very crowded market, a lot of competition.
Oh, yeah.
How are you able to penetrate the marketplace with your product?
Boston's a funny place. Back in 87, 88, and 89, Starbucks tried to come in, and there was a company called Boston Coffee Connection that bought up all the popular retail locations just so Starbucks couldn't come in. Boston didn't accept Walgreens when they first come in. They had to buy a chain called MediMart, and then took over the MediMart sign and put a little Walgreens logo in the corner. Then every 6 months, the Walgreens logo got bigger, And the Medi Mart sign got smaller. So eventually, 2 years later, it was just Walgreens. But Walgreens first came to Boston in the 1970s. Nobody would buy and go in there. They all were loyal to Medi Mart. Well, most areas in this country, most regions, most cultures are pretty loyal to their local brands. So in Boston, Starbucks couldn't break through. And I said, I'm not going to buy a coffee shop. Coffee was booming. And all this, but Starbucks couldn't get into Boston. I said, well, whether they're here or not eventually, coffee is booming. I'm not going to sell coffee. I'm going to find something. This coffee cake is incredible. It just seemed like a natural match. While I'm selling my environmentally friendly cleaning supplies, this coffee cake just fell right in my lap. And I said, my goodness, it just seems like it's the right time. Why not? Coffee's coming. Why not coffee cake? So when I talked to the owner, when we took it over, his name was called My Grandma's. That's what he called it. He can't use that name legally because anything named Grandma's that was owned by Frito-Lay, they own Grandma's Cookies. So I didn't realize this, but they were going to put a cease and desist on it because he had no permission to use that logo. Well, when I took over the company, I learned a little about logos. I had some friends in politics, and we trademarked the name My Grandma's of New England, not just Grandma's or My Grandma's like he had. My Grandma's Coffee Cakes of New England and My Grandma's of New England Coffee Cake. And to this day, those are the three trademarks we have. So we're not called My Grandma's. And we have those three trademark names. And, of course, now we're nationally registered because we're accepted as being a brand that does not conflict with Grandma's Cookies. And so there's a little trick of the trade. When you want to have a product and you want it, the bigger you get, nobody notices you until you get big enough that then they want to take it away from you. When someone wants to take it from you or someone wants to copy you, now you know you got something really good. And we knew we had something really good. And our second year, we had to move out of the building. I brought 3 employees on. I gave them all the income that I could afford to pay them. And I knew that someday, if I could pay them, they'll make money from me. And sure enough, within 4 years, we had to move into a bigger building again. And that's where we are now, is in Boston. To be honest with you, Les,
right.
During November, December, I don't know how we can survive. Right now, we're looking for an alternative for next fall, because presently we're outgrowing the building that we've been in since 1997.
Huh. Okay. And so is it that you're looking for a bigger building now? Is that the idea?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. We want to evolve. We weren't just one cinnamon walnut cake. We have many flavors, but it's besides that. We make them in lower fat if people want them in reduced fat. But we also make mini cakes now. That's a lot of labor because now that's 10 times the work because they're about 1/6 the size of our cake, 1/8 the size of our cake. And it takes up a lot of space. It requires a lot of packaging. We don't have enough room for that packaging equipment. So we have to farm that out to someone down the street that they can package them for us. So in order for us to grow, we're in a chain called Au Bon Pain now. And there are a lot of them in the East Coast. I think there are a few. Au Bon Pain, AUBONPAIN. Okay. And there are over 200 of them in the country, and they love our mini cakes. They never expected to sell as many as they did, but just since last October, we sold over 250,000 mini cakes. Their estimates were about 100 to 110,000, so they more than doubled their estimate over that 4-month period. So we need to be able to make more mini cakes, and we need to be able to package more cakes for QVC with new flavors for QVC, changing sizes for QVC, and we just, in this building that we thought was going to be gigantic for us in 97, we're breaking out. We're reaching the point where we can't grow this company more than we have in the next 2 years, and we know within 2 years we'll have to be in a bigger place, or else we'll just have to flat sales, and we don't want to do that. We know the company's now just hearing about us. We're not well known. It's all word of mouth. People love bragging about the cake when they taste it. Why would we not want people to help promote our product and then say, yeah, it's a great cake if you can get it? No, we're going to make it available for people who want it.
You brought up an interesting point. So your cakes are being sold on QVC?
They're sold on QVC in different varieties. We've given them exclusive flavors. They wanted a summer cake, so we made them a pina colada. This summer we're coming out with a strawberry white chocolate cake for them. We've come up with certain flavors like we make an apple and we make a pumpkin, but we make just for them pumpkin apple. It's exclusive for them. They also have exclusive flavors of mini cakes in certain varieties. On the West Coast, we're in Gelson's, and that's it. on the West Coast. You might find us in the freezer section of several Honey Baked Hams because we're involved with them nationally. And each of their stores keep them for Easter and for Mother's Day, when it becomes ham season. But right now, like I said, if 1% of this country, 3 million people, know about us, I'd be pretty content at that number right now. In other words, I'm not happy that's the number, but I'd be satisfied saying that's probably an accurate number. About 3 million people.
Also, I also see the possible licensing aspect of it being sold overseas as well.
Oh, boy, do we have demand less in Europe. Matter of fact, they're talking to people in England right now. And you have to buy them by the trailer load, so you have to buy 12,000 cakes at a time and bring them on a freezer over Europe. But our cakes frozen are incredible. I mean, our cakes frozen, you can frost them, defrost them, take them out, put them back in the freezer again. Because of the high-quality ingredients, nobody ever has to worry about this cake spoiling. It's just, we're just so blessed because we knew that if we stuck with quality, people would recognize it. And that's what's happening. People are recognizing it. We've been in Good Housekeeping magazine. The Denver Post called us the Rage of the East Coast. We had a Jewish newspaper called the Forward, and their headline said, "We almost stopped the presses." And it's basically saying that when we got this cake, the whole newspaper went crazy over it. We almost couldn't even get back to work. It was so good. So we have fun with this. It's a blast. We love it. We love hearing when we were in The Sopranos, and they mentioned that they had just killed the guy in The Sopranos, and they said, "I'm going to miss him." And they said, "Not as much as his mother is. He used to give him one of those grandma's coffee cakes every Christmas." So we were in a punchline in The Sopranos. We're having a ball with this, and I'm very proud of it. And it lets me meet more people. It lets me hear more stories. That's all I'm doing this for.
Very good. Okay, Robert, I think we've pretty much covered anything. Is there anything that you'd like to talk about or finish up on?
No less, but I think it would be wonderful to do a follow-up. I can follow up and find out some people who have been inquiring regarding the soy shots. And as a result of your program airing, the lucky folks who get the scoop, because basically what you're doing is legitimate gossip. I mean, in my opinion, you're taking stories that most people don't hear about and letting the few fortunate people who use you as a resource actually learn something before anybody else knows about it. So my goal and my hope is that other people out there will get excited about anything we're talking about and maybe share some of their ideas with us, or want to get involved with some of the things we've been talking about. That's what makes America so great. When we get through with the rough economy, we're going to be recognized as the best 10 years to ever start a business. From 2007 to 2017 will be remembered as the best years to ever start a business, because that's when people who work for themselves are going to realize it will pay off in the future. So I'm excited about the future, Les. Very excited.
Well, I'm glad you're on the show. I know you've been involved with all types of different products and services out there. And again, for our listeners, right above the video, you'll be able to see how you can get in touch with Robert directly. And, of course, his website link will be right there as well. And, again, Robert, I'd like to thank you for being on the show. And for our listeners,
it's my pleasure, Les. My pleasure.
You're most welcome. And Robert's got this new product would like to come out with called Soyshot. And so if you would have an interest in that, or you'd like to find out about the coffee cakes, definitely give him a call. His Soyshot product, he called it a guppy, but I say, hey, let's turn that into a whale of an idea. My name is Leslie Robert Wolfe, and thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you on the next show.